Hey, Wob.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Comment yo comme ça? Yo ka toujours les nous si yo gen question dans numéro c'est 561 576 1600. Pendant nous dans radio là si moun yo gen question yo ka rele nous poser nos questions. Numéro encore c'est 561 576 1600. Et si moun yo pas gen tabala avec nous dans radio là, moun yo gen tout les yo, prend sang yo. On connaît tout le monde gen numéro téléphone nous c'est 866 945 47 68. Téléphone ça son li dans toute frigidaire, li dans toute machine, li tout côté dans caille là, quel que soit les moun yo ta besoin, yo injury leur groupe, yo ta involve dans accident machine. Si al non store yo glissé yo tomber, yo ta tomber dans travail, yo ta gen caille et cyclone da passé ya si instant gen problème ensemble avec ou pas vle ranger caille là pour yo ka toujours les yo injury leur groupe dans 866 945 47 68. Jodi à la nous gon gros tonton garçon ensemble avec nous qui c'est Robert Twilling. So non pas besoin présenter Robert parce que toute communauté a gen ta connait Robert déjà. So n'a dit Robert, welcome. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's interesting because we're going to talk about some general principles of law.
Yeah.
I'm not here to give legal advice per se. It's just going to talk about general principles. If you have a question about your particular accident or your particular situation, give us a call at our office. 866 945 47 68, and we'll be able to talk to you directly and help you with your particular situation.
Yeah, je dis à n'abdi moun yo la et wom ensemble avec yo li pa ba yo legal advice et bagay général la parle ensemble avec moun yo. Si moun yo ta une question yo ka toujours relé nous dans office là dans 866 945 47 68. Yo ka toujours relé nous dans office là 866 945 47 68 et y a besoin si vous voulez parler créole, y a besoin de monde qui peut parler créole ensemble avec aussi vous parler espagnol, y a besoin de monde qui peut parler espagnol ensemble avec aussi vous parler anglais. Bon, c'est Wob qui met anglais à Wob déjà là vous parlez anglais pour nous. So n'a dit moun yo pas hésiter relé numéro c'est 866 945 47 68. Your injury law group c'est l'offre pas communauté a nous involve dans la communauté dans tout ça qui passe dans la communauté quel que soit ça qui fait dans la communauté nous essayer involve là-dedans nous fouiller pied nous tout côté nous aider tout le monde tout ça qui fait dans la communauté nous aider mon yo. So basically one of the question people keep asking me, what happen if you get involved in an accident and you go to a doctor, you are a lawyer, and then you're treating, and while you're doing all of this, you get involved in a second accident. What the best thing people should do when they have that situation?
That's a great question. That happens very frequently. Yeah. Unfortunately, people sometimes have more than one accident in a period of time. And the number one advice I can tell people is to if you have an attorney, talk to your attorney. If you have a doctor, talk to the doctor and let them know. Florida law is complicated, and there are some requirements that have to be met in order for you to qualify for certain things. And we'll go into this a little bit as we have the discussion because we have a little bit more time tonight.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, if I, as an attorney, don't know that someone's been in a second accident, there's a lot of things that happen that I'm not going to know about that are going to affect my ability to recover money for the first accident, of course.
Okay.
And, of course, it may jeopardize your claim on the second accident. Honesty is always the best policy, and the more information that I as an attorney have, the easier it is for me to help my client.
Okay. So basically, ça qui passe dans la communauté nous ça arrive souvent on monde qu'on a traité pour un accident de fait déjà l'a traité le con avocat déjà les fini pendant dans mi-temps traitement ou bien li involve non l'autre accident encore mon yo toujours une difficulté pour yo connaître qui exactement qui ça pour yo faire dans cas ça c'est ça fait et y en a bagay ou dit honnêteté c'est bagay qui est important si jamais ou ta non genre des problèmes comme ça premier bagay pour faire les avocats là pour le cabo et conseil légal exactement qui décision vous prend pas kembe ça pour compte ou bien pas cacher ça faut à l'aise avec avocat là quelle que soit question gagner ou faut une opportunité pour les avocats pour poser la question.
One of the things that happens, and this is really important, because when I'm representing someone for an automobile accident, for example, or any type of an accident, and something else happens, there's a couple things that go on. As I acquire information, I'm able to help them more with the first accident and with the second accident. That's the first thing.
Yeah, bagay qui est important, les mon nan gen dans genre des problèmes ça yo plus avocat gain plus information, li gain plus possibilité pour l'aider moun nan.
And I think there's a lot of misconceptions, a misunderstanding that people sometimes have. They think that, well, I don't want anybody to confuse, I'm going to wait until I finish the first accident.
Yeah, they do that.
They do. They wait. Yeah. And there's so many problems that come out as a result of that. One of the things, as an example, one of the things that Florida law requires for an automobile accident, if you're involved in a motor vehicle accident, you have a very limited amount of time to seek medical attention, to get medical treatment from the right kind of a doctor for your injuries in order to qualify for your own automobile insurance benefits.
Okay. So problem ki gen moun yo le yo nan kasa yo toujou di aptan fò yo fin pran traitement pour premier après ça pour yal commencer pour deuxième accident mais pas oublier loi Florida pas gon temps li genyen li bay moun yo leur fait accident pour commencer prendre traitement. So si jamais ou ta nan problème ça t'a arrivé ou t'as traité pour un premier accident le fini ça t'a arrivé non pas t'a souhaité ça non mais ou t'as vinn font l'autre accident encore et pas ça t'a souhaité premier bagage pour faire forer l'avocat là pour communiquer ça ensemble avec pour le cas conseil légal yo pour dire exactement qui décision à prendre.
I even heard people tell me that their doctor that they're treating with for the first accident says, "Oh no, we're not going to worry about the second accident until after you're done treating with the first one." And I will tell you that can't, if you're going to, it's sort of like this.
Yeah.
If you're going to go to a doctor, if you have medical issues, go to a doctor and ask the doctor.
Yeah.
But if you've got legal issues, why are you asking a doctor?
Yeah.
Ask the lawyer.
Yeah. Des fois avocat ou fait docteur ou fait ça et même docteur des fois qu'on dit ou pas traiter moun yo pour des accidents mais ça qui est important sous besoin conseil médical ou supposé demander un docteur mais sous besoin conseil légal pas gen pièce moun pour demander un conseil légal son avocat pour demander un conseil légal parce que chaque moun yo gen travail par yo y a fait essayer mettre moun yo dans position yo peut-être ça docteur là pour le traiter mais avocat là pour le bon conseil légal pour le représenter tout.
And especially if you've been hurt in the second accident, whether it's this, you've aggravated an injury from the previous accident or you have a whole new injury or a little bit of both. If I as the lawyer know about that, I can do something about that. But if I don't know about it, I'm going to get blindsided later on with the information that I should have known all along as the lawyer.
Yeah, spécialement sous blessé sous frappé dans accident parce que si avocat pas connaît comme si son monde qui pas ouais dans ça l'a fait parce que pas gen monde qui t'est informé ou même au fond l'autre accident encore en façon pour te ka font gens pour te ka et défendre dans gens da supposé défendre.
And I think it's real important for people to know that when they call our office, the call is free. So you're going to get legal advice based on your situation, and it's not with any commitment, and it's not with any expectation of being paid. We do this as a service to make sure that we are giving good, competent legal advice to people, making sure that they're going to protect their interests, and if we're able to help them, we're more than happy to do it.
Yeah, n'a pas rappelé mon encore. Appel là c'est free ou pas payer rien pour légal là. Pour appel là, ou a besoin de bonne information légale pour grand messi. Consultation c'est gratis li ou pas payer $1 pour lui. Ben raison pour rele parce que rele non ou pas payer spécialement nous même nous pas ou pas payer et avocat rele pour parler ensemble avec. N'a dit mon yo le numéro de téléphone c'est 866 945 47 68. Pas hésiter les numéros de téléphone ça et nous gain website nous qui c'est avocatpaola.com qui en créole et nous gain un monde qui parle créole qui parle anglais qui parle espagnol pour nous là dans communauté a leur femme ça c'est pour nous lier c'est ça qui fait yo bal nous porter yo enjoy leur groupe quel que soit problème mon nan gain même les ou pas ta non situation ou gon question ou pas besoin non problème pour rele nous ka toujours rele nous dans 866 945 47 68.
Those times when someone has a second accident, oftentimes what we'll hear from them is, well, I didn't know if I should tell you. I don't know if maybe I should get a different lawyer or get a different doctor. And the most important thing I can tell you with that is, again, if you're in a second accident, give us a call. We're happy to help. We can always, the information if we have the information, we can do something about it. Yeah. I always say it doesn't matter what the situation is as long as I know about it.
Yeah.
That's sort of like my underwriting philosophy with how we handle these things. Doesn't matter to me what the situation is, whatever your immigration status is, because a lot of people are afraid to call the lawyer because of their immigration status. They don't know what their rights are. Mm-hmm. You have rights regardless of your immigration status. You have rights regardless of whether it's a first accident, second accident, whatever it might be. You have rights. And it's very important to talk to an experienced attorney to find out how those rights, what we can do to make sure you protect your rights and how to enforce your rights.
Yeah, des fois, mon yo passe yo gen problème immigration, yo pense yo pa gen droit. Quel que soit jon ici yo gen droit, c'est relon avocat qui pour make sure li protéger droit ça gen qui tout gen problème immigration, de pour nan terre ici ou gen droit même ja tout le monde. C'est pas ou pas besoin hésiter relé nous numéro c'est 866 945 47 68. When you're talking about immigration, Rob, so people always asking me, when we gonna have immigration? When we gonna do immigration? I told them, well, they keep telling me talk to Rob about it. So we need you guys to do immigration. So what can you say, Rob?
We are on the verge of bringing in someone to do immigration. It's going to be, we're talking to, we're getting this thing resolved. I don't want to make any commitments until it's resolved. But I'm glad you asked, because that's one of the things that you and I have been talking about. And it's an issue that we're going to be addressing very quickly, probably within the next week to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll be addressing that issue and talking about that and what we can do to help in that area.
So, mon yo nou gon breaking news la, Rob ba nou très bientôt, nous poko commencer, mais très bientôt nous gen pour nous commencer avec immigration. Ça nous t'a ple demandé maintenant, nous pral joindre ni, parce que mon yo a ple demandé ça en pile pour faire immigration, fon faire immigration. Très bientôt, Rob nan pour parler avec un monde qui pour faire immigration pour nous. So basically, that's a good news, Rob.
It's good news.
Yeah, that's
it's very interesting because the firm is Your Injury Law Group, but it also has other divisions as well.
Yeah.
And we've always handled we handle insurance claims, and we have a division called Your Insurance Law Group.
So nous avons une division qui relève Your Assurance Law Group. Nous avons une division qui relève Your Insurance Law Group. So division ça les même lié des monde dans coup sou gon kay la coulé, ou bien gon cyclone qui passé, kay la crasé, ou bien on monte dans machine ni entrer dans kay la. Division ça take care partie ça bon.
But I don't want people to get confused. It's one law firm, Your Injury Law Group, and it has different divisions.
It's like you enter in a supermarket, you got everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we handle all types of injury claims. We handle slip and falls, medical malpractice, product liability, premises liability, obviously motor vehicle accidents. And now we've always handled also insurance claims, whether it's property damage, homeowners claims, insurance claims arising out of automobile or motor vehicle accidents. We handle all of that.
Yeah.
And as you know, we've been talking about, our goal very quickly is to expand our immigration into immigration as well. So hopefully we're going to have some news about that within the next week. In fact, we may be talking about that on the air within the next couple of weeks.
We're very happy because once we're taking care of something for them, they always want to go back. If they have an immigration issue, they want to come back to us to taking care of the immigration.
Very much so. It's sort of like workers' compensation. We have a division that handles workers' compensation. And obviously those cases sometimes become both workers' compensation cases and personal injury cases. So we handle both aspects of it.
Yeah, so basically when people come to Your Injury Law Group, you got everything.
They got everything. So, if you have, and the great part about it is the calls are free. The attorneys are available to answer your calls, and if we're not available, we'll call back or make ourselves available as quickly as we possibly can. So, you're going to get good advice, number one, from experienced people, not just the attorneys, but the whole entire staff. Each of our divisions has their own staff, and those staff has been working with the attorneys for years. So, like, for example, for the injury portion of it, and the insurance claims, we've all been working together now for
more than 8 years.
For a long time. Some of us longer than that even. I know my assistant's been with me now for 12 years. And I happen to like that. I think that consistency and experience go hand in hand.
So basically, n'a dit tout moun yo, mais kon y a nou gon parti immigration nou pral ouvert na office là, moun yo t'a ple demandé ça, but nou pot ko nous t'ai toujours dit on a travaillé sur ça. Bon, nous Rob mettez lagué breaking news là, so nous pral gen immigration très bientôt. So son package la pied de pour entrer dans Your Injury Law Group, ou joindre tout ça besoin ou pas besoin sortir pour aller chercher un bagage dehors on l'autre côté. N'a dit mon numéro téléphone là c'est 866 945 47 68 again. Numéro téléphone là c'est 868 945 47 68.
When we're talking about getting back to our topic, when we're talking about things that people sometimes are afraid to talk to their attorneys about when it comes to injury claims, One of the things is, like, for example, the immigration status. We touched on that a little bit, where people are afraid because of their immigration status, they may not be able to make a claim. But the reality is, in America, if you're injured due to someone else's negligence, you have rights regardless of your immigration status.
Yep, ça veut dire, mon yo toujours gen difficulté pour ça. Yo pense parce que yo pa gen papier dans pays a, le yo gon involve non accident, yo pa gen droit. Quel que soit jon et dans pays a, de pour là ou gen droit même ja tout monde, quelle que soit situation immigration, ou gen droit même ja tout monde. Si ta involve non accident, pas hésiter les numéro c'est 866 945 47 68. N'a pas prendre numéro pour mon yo encore 866 945 47 68 et office là dans West Palm Beach dans Boca Raton. Nous à terre là si on monde veut le toujours passer dans office là, mais c'est premier office dans communauté a rele ou parler avec avocat directement et soit dans office là ou avec avocat face à face pour parler ensemble avec lui et pas tout côté qui comme ça.
You know, one of the other areas that we've been talking that have a lot of experience in, particularly when it comes to auto accidents, is when the insurance companies make decisions that affect the claim and people think, oh, I've got to live with that decision from the insurance company. It may not be the right decision, and oftentimes there are things that we can do to help our clients so that we can get the coverage and get the right kind of benefits that the client's been denied from the insurance companies.
Yeah, des fois mon yo kon les assurances prend décision, mon yo kon penser ces dernières décisions so yo pas ka faire encore et pas toutes les comme ça. So ka toujours les non pour avocat prend que ça pour te couvrir que ça pour garder si décision assurance te prend c'est une bonne décision et le plus souvent Rob toujours jeune gens li aider mon yo. Rob, can you give out the phone number?
Oh, absolutely. It's 866 945 4768. Give us a call. The call is free. And I know you mentioned some of the languages we speak. I didn't hear Portuguese, though.
Yeah.
So we also speak
we
Portuguese.
Speak Portuguese. So
you know, we have somebody...
Portuguese too. No gen Brazilian na office qui parle Portuguese.
Exactly.
So mon yo pas gen problème même. Numéro téléphone là c'est 866 945 47 68.
And you also mentioned, I know earlier on, about the areas in Florida that we've represented people and continue to represent people. Particularly now more than ever, representing people throughout the entire state of Florida is so easy for us. Number one, we have access to the courts everywhere. We have access to clients everywhere. So it's, you know, we're not just limited to the places that you mentioned, although we certainly have cases in those places. We've literally handled cases all the way up and down for the state of Florida, and we continue to do so. So wherever you are, we've had, you know, people from Florida. This is another issue that happens sometimes. When people from Florida have an accident out of state, what do?
Yeah.
And that happens.
That's a good. That's a good.
And so the good news is that when you're a Florida resident and you have a Florida insurance policy, the law of the state that you're in may govern as far as your injury claim is concerned, but your policy is regulated by the terms of the policy here in Florida, and those more often than not are governed by the laws here in the state of Florida. In fact, they're governed by the laws here in the state of Florida. So even in an accident outside the state, there are issues. Number one, we've got relationships with attorneys in other states.
Yep.
And number two, your rights under your own insurance policy are governed by the laws here in Florida. Usually.
Ça vraiment important. Tant que l'on monte Florida ou une assurance policy Florida ou font accident dans l'autre state, majorité là c'est loi Florida gouverner assurance policy là. So même l'autre arrêté Florida ou font accident de l'autre côté ou ka toujours les nous dans 866 945 47 68.
You know, we've had issues recently where we've had a couple of situations where people have had collisions outside the state of Florida, or their car has been damaged or destroyed outside the state of Florida, and they want to know what their rights are because the insurance companies are not necessarily giving them what they're entitled to or honoring the claim. And that's where, you know, we can come in and help.
Yeah, des fois ça arrive tout dans une situation ça qui présenter les mon on assurance Florida but ils font claim ils font accident dans l'autre state des fois yo kon deny li so nous aider mon yo dans ça auto n'a dit mon yo appelle l'Afrique yo ka toujours les nous dans 866 945 47 68 et si mon yo ta une question pendant nous dans radio à la to numéro radio c'est 561 576 1600.
Right. So, you know, it's very interesting because, you know, from our experience with the cases that we've had over the years, we've handled all kinds of insurance claims. You know, you and I have been through that.
Yeah.
And, you know, talking a little bit about our office and who we are, obviously you're here tonight.
Yeah.
Looking very dapper, by the way.
Yeah,
Thank
you.
But the reality is you're a paralegal here at our office.
Yeah.
And, you know, and we're blessed to have you and who speaks fluent Creole and, you know, so on with your talents. And, you know, you and I have been out and doing all kinds of things on site when we need to be, investigations, interviewing witnesses,
we
finding
everywhere.
evidence. You know, we've done it all. So it's,
everywhere.
you know, but the one thing I will tell you is the success that we've had for other clients, I can't guarantee that for every client.
For every client, yes.
And I always let people know that up front because I don't want to have false expectations.
Yeah. Non toujours di moun yo sa. Et succès yo on l'autre moun gen, li pa garanti pour l'autre moun parce que non pas jamais di moun yo tout moun qui vini ap jwenn même résultat non. Non pas jamais fait faux advertisement ça. N'ap di moun yo chaque moun gen kes pa yo, chaque moun gen résultat pa yo ka jwenn. So c'est pas parce qu'on monte jeune au résultat pour penser qu'on jeune même résultat tout. So chaque monde a un résultat par yo, chaque question différent. C'est et non pas vle ap di moun yon bagay le fini après ça pour n'a changer parole pour pas dire exactement ça de dire. Ça on monde jeune c'est pas exactement ça on l'autre monde a jeune.
But you know when we are talking about some of the things that we do with these cases, there's a lot of things that happen. There's a lot of things that have to happen early on. And you've heard me say it before, and I'll say it again. The earlier we are brought in to handle a case, to help somebody, to help you, the earlier we're able to do that, the more success we're able to have, typically.
Yeah, no, di moun yo sa pi bon e o ka apote yon kes ba nou, c'est plus moyen avocat bien pour ka aider nou.
Yeah. So, you know, people, if you have any questions, give us a call at our office. 866 945 4768, and we're happy to help.
Yeah, basically, so after the 14 days, let's say somebody call you after the 14 days, there's nothing you can do?
Well, let's be clear about what that 14-day rule is, because I don't think what people really know necessarily what you're talking about. There is a rule in Florida, actually, it's a law in Florida that says that in order, everybody understands that when you have a car, you have insurance. And that insurance includes personally injury protection, PIP insurance. PIP insurance is designed to pay towards, not all, but towards your medical expenses and your lost wages, up to $10,000.
Okay.
In order to qualify for that, either a portion of it or all of it, certain things have to happen. Within 14 days after an accident, you first need to seek medical attention for your injuries. That's the first thing that has to happen in order to qualify for those benefits.
Okay. So, men sakrive nan 14 jours. Ou gen PIP gen pou l'paye bill médical yo avec sou pedi kob nan travay yo. So, yon nan façon pour qualifier pour ça, faut prendre traitement dans 14 jours. C'est ça 14 jours, c'est pour ça 14 jours là. So, basically, what if they don't seek treatment before the 14 days?
It doesn't mean that there's no case. It means that at the end of the case, there's going to be a lot more medical bills that we have to deal with because you're not going to be able to have the access to the personal injury protection claim. Benefits.
Ça pour 14 jours, ça va vle dire après 14 jours pas gen case. But problème qui gen pral gen plus comme qui sorti dans case là qui pour payer bill médical yo, which is sauter prendre traitement dans 14 jours. PIP a tap kicking, so yo tap paye bill médical yo pour ça veut dire dans case là pral gen plus comme qui sorti là dedans pour payer bill médical.
So obviously that's a significant issue. However, that should not, this is another one of those times when it should not stop you from getting legal advice and finding out, hey, what are my rights? Because you do have rights. And, just because there may be some medical bills to pay for, which there will be, that happens. We had situations sometimes where people go to the hospital and the medical bills far exceed any insurance coverages that are available through your auto insurance. That happens sometimes. But we've had a lot of success dealing with that. Again, I can't promise the success for everybody. But we've had a lot of success dealing with that for our clients and helping them maximize their recoveries from their injury claims.
Yeah, encore nous pas dire tout le monde a besoin même succès so but nous là pour nous aider mon yo et le plus souvent nous faire mon yo jeune maximum comme yo ta supposé jeune là. N'a dit tout le monde yo pas hésiter rele nous numéro c'est 866 945 47 68. Quelle que soit question mon yo gain, yo ka toujours rele nous dans téléphone là. So the last word up.
Well, the bottom line is this. Yes, Florida law is complicated, but that's what you have an attorney for. And when you give us a call at our office, we don't charge up front for it. We only get paid, in the vast majority of our cases, we only get paid if we're successful in recovering money for you. So you don't have to worry about that. And you're able to get good legal advice based upon your situation, maximize your rights, maximize your recovery, and all for a phone call.
Yep.
And the bottom line is, the earlier you call us, regardless of the situation, don't get intimidated by your situation and think, oh, well, I'm not going to call because of this, or I'm not going to call because of that. Call.
Yep.
Find out what your rights are. Don't guess. Don't assume. Find out what your rights are, because you may find out that your rights are much more significant than you ever thought possible. Yep. It just depends.
Yeah, ou pas j'aime connaître, chercher connaître qui doit gagner et puis bon carrelé c'est avocat bien plus chance pour l'aider nous pas arrêter chita pour attendre. So numéro c'est 866 945 47 68. Encore numéro c'est 866 945 47 68. N'a dit tout moun yo next week n'a là encore après l'autre semaine avec une autre émission pour nous. Next time n'a cherchons l'autre subject pour nous parler sur lui et nous là chaque lundi à 6h à Gabilo nous pas prêter d'aller et wab see you on Monday.
You got it. Thank you. Thank you for having us, Gabilo. It's a pleasure.